What's up, everybody? This is Big Sarge back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 unwritten rules of Army life that every new recruit should know. So let's get into it. All right. So joining the Army, this is one of those life decisions that changes you forever. From the day you step off the bus at basic training to the day you hang up your uniform, you're stepping into a completely different world, one with its own culture, language, and ways of doing things. And the Army has official rules, and trust me, you're going to learn them over and over. But there's also a set of unwritten rules that no one hands you in a little green book. These are the things you figure out on the fly, usually the hard way, unless someone pulls you aside and gives you the inside scoop. And that's what this video is about. So I'm going to break down 10 unwritten rules of Army life that every new recruit should know. Now, if you understand these rules early, then you're going to make your life a whole lot easier, earn respect faster, and avoid some of those rookie mistakes that can haunt you. So let's go. All right. So rule number one is you don't ever want to be that guy or that girl. And you'll know exactly what that guy is within your first week. Well, that guy, this is the person who's always late, always loses their gear, they're always complaining, and they're always making life harder for everybody else. In the Army, your actions affect the whole team. If you mess up, then everyone might pay for it in push-ups, lost privileges, or extra duties. Now, why does this matter? Well, reputation sticks in the Army, and once people see you as unreliable, it's hard to shake. Now, on the flip side, if you're dependable, then your name will carry weight in a good way. And here's a tip to help you be successful. You want to be on time, which means in the Army, you want to show up 10 to 15 minutes early for everything. You want to take care of your gear. You want to follow instructions the first time. And if you screw up, you need to own it. Do not make excuses. Rule number two is your uniform is talking even when you're not. So here's something you'll notice quickly. People in the Army check each other's uniforms constantly. They're always looking at everybody's rank, their patches, how clean the uniform is, even how well your boots are laced up, because your uniform says how squared away you are, whether you pay attention to detail, and whether you care about representing the Army well. Now, why does all this matter? Well, if your uniform is sloppy, then leaders are going to assume your work is sloppy, and soldiers are judged, whether fairly or unfairly, on appearance. So here's a tip to help you be successful. Learn how to wear your uniform correctly from day one. Keep it clean, keep it pressed, and serviceable. Check your patches and badges before formation, because backwards or crooked insignia can scream rookie. Another rule is the 5-minute rule for gossip. So the Army is like a small town, even on a big base, and news can travel fast. So if something happens, you can bet that within 5 minutes, half your unit will know. By lunch, the story will be twice as wild as reality. Now, why does this matter? Well, loose talk, this can damage reputations, hurt careers, and create drama that you don't want to be a part of. And leaders, they will notice who fuels rumors. So here's a tip to help you be successful. Don't be the source of gossip. If you hear something, take it with a grain of salt. If it's about someone in your chain of command or serious enough to affect the mission, then take it to the right person and not the barracks rumor mill. Another rule is if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, then you're late. And this isn't just a saying. This is a survival tactic. Now, in civilian life, on time means arriving at the moment something starts. In the Army, showing up at exactly 0700 for a 0700 formation, that means you're late. And leaders expect you in position, ready to go at least 10 minutes beforehand. Now, why does this matter? Well, punctuality is a sign of discipline, and being late, even by a single minute, this can trigger punishments or lose you credibility. So here's some tips to help you be successful. Always aim to be in place 10 to 15 minutes early. If you think you're going to be late, call your team leader before the time you're supposed to be there and not after. Another rule is PT is more than just morning exercise. So a lot of new recruits, they treat PT like a box to check off, and that's a big mistake, because PT is where leaders notice your work ethic. You can build camaraderie with your squad, and you improve the fitness that you're going to need for rucks, deployments, and field training. Now, why does this matter? Well, failing fitness tests, this can stall your career, cost you promotions, or even get you kicked out of the military. And beyond the paperwork side, being in shape, this actually makes your job easier. So here's a tip for you. Do not coast during PT. always push yourself. Work on your weak areas outside of official PT hours because fitness is a part of your job. It is not a side activity. Another rule is your chain of command is your lifeline. So the Army has a strict chain of command for a reason because it keeps information and authority flowing smoothly. And ignoring it or jumping over people, this will burn bridges fast. Now, why does this matter? Well, your chain of command is there to solve problems, guide you, and advocate for you. And skipping them, this makes you look like you don't respect the system. So here's a tip. If you have an issue, start with your immediate leader, like your team leader or your squad leader. Only go up the chain if the issue is not resolved and let the lower levels know what you're doing. And always build good relationships with your leaders because this will pay off over time. Another rule is the barracks have their own code. Now, if you live in a barracks, you're basically living in a college dorm, except it has way more rules and people who can actually punish you. And some unwritten barracks rules include the following, like don't touch other people's stuff, keep the noise down during quiet hours, clean up after yourself in shared spaces, and be mindful about who you bring over and how often. Now, why does this matter? Well, the barracks can be either a decent place to live or a nightmare. And it usually comes down to as to whether or not people respect each other. So here's a tip. Treat the common areas like your own home. Unless your home is a disaster, then do better. And don't be the reason the whole building gets a surprise inspection. And here's another rule. Field time is where you earn or lose respect. So you're going to spend a lot of time in the field training in simulated combat environments. And this is where the Army weeds out the pretenders. Now, why does this matter? Well, in the field, you cannot hide poor skills, bad attitudes, or laziness. And leaders, they're going to notice who pulls their weight, who volunteers, and who disappears when work needs to be done. And here's a tip for you. You want to always be ready to move, so keep your gear organized. You want to help your battle buddies without being asked, and you do not want to complain about things that you can't control, like weather, sleeping conditions, or MRE menus. Another rule is to learn when to speak up and when to shut up. So there's a time for humor and opinions, and then there's a time for silence. One of the fastest ways to get on the wrong side of leadership is to talk when you should be listening. Now, why does this matter? Well, in the Army, discipline includes knowing how to read a room. And shooting your mouth off at the wrong moment, this can make you look immature or insubordinate. So here's a tip. During briefings, instructions, or formations, listen first, then speak later. If you got a good question or an idea, then bring it up at the right time in the right way, often privately to your immediate leader. And also remember that sarcasm rarely lands well with people above your pay grade. And our final unwritten rule is take care of your people and they will take care of you. So the Army runs on teamwork. Whether you're in combat or just pulling motor pool duty, you're part of a team. If you're the type of person who helps out, shares the load, and looks out for your battle buddies, then you'll never be alone. Now, why does this matter? Well, mutual respect and trust are the currency of Army life. When people know you got their back, they'll have yours, whether it's in the field, in the barracks, or just in life in general. And as a tip, you want to share knowledge with new soldiers. You want to step in and help when someone's overloaded. And always remember that one day you might need a favor returned to you. All right, so here's my final advice for new recruits. These unwritten rules aren't in the Army's official regulations, but they're just as important as the written ones. Why? Because they're about survival and success in Army culture. So if you show up early, you keep your uniform sharp, you stay fit, you respect the chain of command, you avoid gossip, and you help your team, you're going to find that Army life runs smoother, people will respect you more, and opportunities will open up faster. Because the Army, they're going to teach you how to shoot, march, and follow orders. But these unwritten rules, they are what will help you fit in, earn trust, and be successful. So think of it this way. Skills make you a soldier, but attitude and habits make you a good one. So remember, pay attention to the little things. Learn from those who have been there longer. And don't just survive the Army, excel in it.